When his girlfriend cheated on him, my best friend used me as a rebound and then went back to her. Now she's getting married to her ex's brother, and he's losing it. Tyler and I have been friends since our first year of college. We met while both of us were lost during introduction week and were looking for the classroom library. The whole afternoon we spent together was spent laughing about how bad we were at following maps. That day was the start of an 8-year friendship between us. I remember very clearly the exact moment I knew I liked him. It was our second year of high school, at a birthday party for a friend they both have. Tyler had spent the whole night making sure everyone had food and drinks, cleaning up after accidents, and making sure his drunk friends got home safely. He always looked out for other people because that's who he was. On the other hand, he was already seeing Veronica, someone he met in economics class. In every way, Veronica was better than me. She liked people, was naturally pretty, and came from a wealthy family. Several businesses in our city that her family owned did well. Tyler fell deeply in love with her right from the start. Even though it hurt, I chose to be his best friend because it was better than not having him in my life at all. Over the years, Tyler and I stayed very close. We watched movies together every week, went camping once a month, and knew who to call in case of an emergency. It's likely that Veronica didn't mind that we were friends because she felt so safe in her relationship with Tyler. They moved in together after high school, and I helped them make it look nice. I told myself I was happy for them, even though it hurt. 6 months ago, everything changed. Tyler called me at 3 a.m. and couldn't stop crying. He found out that Veronica had been seeing Tom, her brother-in-law, while they were together. It seems that he got home early from a work trip and found them in his bed with Veronica. The worst part. Veronica didn't even want to say sorry. He asked her to give him some time to think about it, and she left. When I got to his apartment that night, he was surrounded by broken picture frames and empty beer bottles. His whole appearance was ruined. I stayed with him that night and many more. I helped him stick to his work routine and made sure he ate. I also cried with him for hours about Veronica. Even though our other friends tried to help, Tyler only seemed to want me there. I noticed small changes in our relationship as the weeks went by. Tyler wanted to touch me more often. It wasn't anything bad, just long hugs or holding my hand while we watched movies. He'd call me for no reason, just to hear my voice. He would sometimes stare at me with a look I had never seen him make before. I started to feel my hidden feelings again. I tried to stay calm, though. He was weak and only needed a friend, not a partner. We watched his favorite movie at his place about 3 months after the split. He was doing better. He went back to the gym, spent time with friends, and even laughed again. That night he made us dinner, but it wasn't even close to being good, so we ordered pizza instead. Like always, I had my head on his shoulder while we were sitting on his couch when all of a sudden he turned to face me. That I was the only thing that never changed in his life, he told me. How I stuck with him, even when things were bad. He kissed me before I could answer. It wasn't a dirty, drunk kiss. Both of us were sober. One kiss led to another, and we ended up going to sleep together. He hugged me and told me he had never felt so safe with anyone else. Before I went to sleep, I felt like all the things I had been waiting for were finally happening. Things were different in the morning. Tyler didn't look at me much while I dressed. I think he said something about being busy at work, and then he pushed me out the door. I told myself that he just needed some time to think about what had happened, but I knew something wasn't right. Tyler became more and more detached over the next 2 weeks. He stopped taking my calls and texts with one-word responses. Whenever I asked to meet up, he always had a reason, though we had seen each other before. He acted like nothing had happened when we were with other people. Our friends saw that things were tense but didn't know what to say. I chose enough was enough for bad times. He gave me an extra key years ago, which I used to get into his flat and talk to him. As soon as I opened the door, I heard laughing and people I knew. Tyler and Veronica were making out on his couch when I walked in. It was the same couch where he told me 2 weeks ago that I was important to him. When they saw me, they jumped apart. She smiled at me like we were old friends, even though she had just hurt Tyler a few months before. Tyler seemed guilty, but not shocked. While Veronica waited in the sitting room, he called me into his bedroom to talk. That's when he told me everything. A week ago, Veronica came back and said she had made a bad mistake. She said Tom had lied to her, and that she had been confused, but now she saw that Tyler was the only person she had ever really loved. Tyler took her back, even after everything she had done. When I asked him what happened, he was so bold as to say it was an accident, and that he was weak and puzzled. He said he hoped we could be friends again because he cared too much about our friendship to lose it. He even said it would be fun for the 3 of us to get together again. I didn't say anything else before I left. He was blocked on Facebook, the phone, and email. Friends of both of us were calling me crazy and telling me I was exaggerating and that Tyler was just confused and hurt when he slept with me. There are even people who say I should have known better than to date him so soon after his split. But here's the thing, I was a great friend for 8 years. I pushed my feelings down, helped him be with Veronica, and was there for him when she broke his heart. It wasn't because we were drunk that we slept together. He asked for it, he was clean, and he said things that made me think he finally saw me as more than just a friend. I feel abused and ashamed now. Even though I never told him, he had to know how I felt about him after 8 years. He used what he knew about me and how I felt to get over Veronica. But as soon as she came back, he dumped me. I don't think I'll ever be able to forgive this. Friends tell me I'm being too tough because Tyler was just lost and messed up. I was his friend and always there for him for 8 years. But he only saw me as a backup plan in case his first choice wasn't available. Am I responding too much? Should I try to be friends with you again? The very thought of seeing them together makes me sick right now. What should I do next? When should I update? I didn't plan to update so soon, but things have gone badly. Everything has been a mess for the past 2 weeks. After my last post, I forgot about all of our common friends and got right to work. I got rid of all of my social media apps on my phone because I couldn't stand seeing our friends post pictures of Tyler and Veronica together. Just a few days ago, Katie, Veronica's sister, sent me a message on Facebook. I almost didn't open it, but something made me. She wanted to talk to me in person about Tyler and Veronica because she had important news to share. At first, I said no. Their trouble was over for me. Katie wouldn't give up, saying that the information was important and could have an effect on Tyler's health. We met at a coffee shop that wasn't where we usually hang out. Katie looked tense and kept looking at her phone. I felt very sick after hearing what she said. It looks like Veronica's affair with Katie's husband Tom wasn't something that happened very recently. They had been dating for more than 3 years, which is almost as long as Veronica and Tyler had been together. To keep it a secret, they only got together when Tyler had to be out of town for work. That wasn't even the worst part. Katie says that Veronica had no plans to stay with Tyler after she was found. For a few months now, she had been seeing Tom's younger brother James. James makes 3 times as much as Tyler as an investment banker. Veronica was going to leave Tyler for James, but James didn't want anyone to know about their relationship until he got promoted. Toby wouldn't leave Katie because he didn't want to lose his comfortable life and social standing, which is the only reason Veronica went back to Tyler. Once she knew she had lost Tom, she tried to get back together with James, but James said he could use some more time. After that, she chose Tyler as a backup plan while she waited for James to say yes. Katie showed me a ton of screenshots of talks between Veronica and James, pictures of them together to gather information while she was supposedly trying to get Tyler back, and even a video of them kissing at a restaurant just a few days after she and Tyler got back together. The last straw was a text message from 2 days ago in which Veronica and James talked about their plans to get married. They're going to tell everyone about it next week at a family dinner. I read everything Katie had sent me for hours. She told me this because she felt bad about keeping quiet about Tom and Veronica's affair for more than a year in order to protect her marriage. She wanted to make things right now that Tom had told her everything, and they were getting a divorce. I wasn't sure what to do with this knowledge. I wanted to go to Tyler's apartment right away and show him everything, but I also felt like it wasn't my place anymore. I sent it all to Tyler's roommate Jake after giving it a lot of thought. Jake has known Tyler since high school and would know how to handle this better than I do. It was around 2 a.m. last night when Jake called me in a panic. Tyler had lost all sense of reality after seeing the proof. He drank a whole bottle of whiskey while reading everything. Chris, Jake, and their other roommate tried to stop him, but Tyler locked himself in his room. They finally broke down the door and found him passed out with a bottle of sleeping pills next to him. They took him to the hospital right away. The doctors were able to quickly pump his stomach. Even though he's fine now, they are keeping an eye on him for 72 hours because he tried to kill himself. Jake said Tyler kept calling for me and saying he'd done a terrible thing before they put him to sleep. That was a while ago and my phone still rings. Tyler called right away after getting his phone back. He started leaving voicemails when I didn't answer. He says sorry while crying in them. He chose Veronica over me, which was the worst thing he could have done. Because our relationship was so important to him, he says he's always loved me but was afraid to tell me. He says he only went back to being with Veronica because it was safe and comfortable, but the way he felt with me was real. He's also been coming to my place. He will sometimes stand outside and knock and call my name for hours. My friends have begun to complain. He came back tonight, all drunk and yelling that he'd show me how much he loves me if I gave him a chance. The other people in his room had to come get him. Our friends are split up. Some people think I'm mean for avoiding him when it's clear he's at his worst. People around me understand why I can't face him. Jake calls me every day to let me know how he's doing, probably hopes that I'll change my mind. But here's the thing, I guess this is exactly what Tyler gets. He gave up someone who loved him and was there for him through everything for someone who never really cared about him. Is it wrong that seeing him hurt makes me feel like I didn't deserve to suffer? Am I a bad person because I didn't rush to help him when it was clear he was hurt? I understand that my anger may seem small compared to someone trying to kill themselves, but I can't change how I feel. He took advantage of me when he was weak and made me think we had a future together, but he dumped me as soon as his ex became interested in me again. I'm the one he wants now, that he knows the truth about Veronica, right? He still seems to see me as a safety net, someone he can fall back on if things go wrong with Veronica. I haven't made up my mind about what to do yet. I'm sitting here thinking how my life got so messed up. Tyler is still in the hospital, and Veronica hasn't shown her face since the truth came out. Should I go see him in the hospital at least? Or follow through with my plan to cut him out of my life for good? Change too, a lot has happened since the last time I wrote. Tyler started going to rehab after he got out of the hospital. Things were quiet for a while. From Jake I learned that Tyler had stopped drinking and was focused on getting better. I thought this mess might be over for good. Then, Veronica and James made their proposal public on social media last week. There were professional pictures of them at a fancy restaurant, and Veronica was showing off a huge diamond ring in one of the pictures. The text talked about fate and meeting true love. Most of our friends who we both knew were shocked when they found out Veronica was seeing James. It was Facebook that Tyler found out. Jake said that therapy was going well until he saw that post. He quit his job right away. They bought 2 bottles of vodka and then disappeared for a while. He turned up at the right time and was determined to go to Veronica and James's engagement party that night at Veronica's parents' house. Jake and Chris tried to stop Tyler, but he wouldn't listen. He got really drunk before he went to the party. Veronica's mom tried to get security to take him away, but Tyler grabbed the DJ's mic and began telling everyone about Veronica's relationships with both Tom and James, while she was supposed to be trying to make things right with Tyler. It looked like the scene was a mess. Veronica was yelling. James looked shocked, and Katie's boyfriend Tom tried to run away from what was going on. After Tyler said that, Katie spoke up and confirmed what Tyler had said. She told everyone about the 3-year affair between Veronica and Tom and showed them proof on her phone. She also said that Veronica had been seeing James while she was trying to get back together with Tyler. The effects were huge. James broke up with Veronica right away, even though he didn't know that she had cheated on him before, or that she was trying to get back with Tyler while they were dating. The parents of Veronica, who had always said how great their daughter was, were made fun of in front of all their friends. Katie and Tom's marriage, which was already having problems, fell apart totally. Katie told everyone at the party that they were getting a divorce. Things didn't end there, though. The scandal got out to Veronica's place of work in some way. She works at a law company with a strong conservative image. They asked her to quit when they learned she had affairs with Tom and James while she was with Tyler and was cheating on all 3 men. They did this so the firm would not get bad press. I stayed away from all of this chaos. But Tyler came back to my room last night. He looked better than he had in months and wasn't drunk this time. He said that going to therapy had taught him a lot about himself. He told me that he had always taken me for granted because he knew I would be there for him whenever he needed me. He told me he knew how I felt for years but claimed not to because he liked being with someone who would always put him first. He told me that he really started to like me when Veronica cheated, but he was afraid of losing his safety net and the comfort of his relationship with Veronica. He begged me to give him another chance and said he would make up for it all his life. He finally understood that what we had was real, and that Veronica was just a habit that made him feel good that he couldn't break. When he was done, I slammed the door in his face. I told him through the door that he needed me right now and had no other choice. That Veronica was more important to him than me, and that showed me where I stood in his life. I believed him the first time. I told him that everything that happened to him was his fault. He begged and cried outside my door for hours. In the end, my friends called security to get rid of him. One of them taped him losing it and sent it to me, telling me I should get a protection order if this keeps up. It's weird that I don't feel anything. Not mad or sad. Not even happy with seeing him hurt. Just not full. Some of our common friends still have strong opinions about us. Some think I'm being mean, while others agree with my choice to keep him out of my life. Tyler is back in treatment, and Jay called to let me know. He asked if I would be interested in talking to him once he's more settled. I'm done though. Tyler didn't understand how valuable I was until he lost everything else. That is not love, it is despair. And I deserve better than being the last person someone turns to. Note 3: It's been a while since my last message, and a lot has changed in my life. I chose to focus only on myself after Tyler's meltdown at my place. I worked hard and got a raise I had been aiming for months. To deal with my anger in a healthy way, I even started fighting classes. I also got back in touch with old friends I had forgotten about while I was taking care of Tyler's mental needs. Tyler quit trying to get in touch with me in the end. Based on what Jake said, he went back to Ohio to live with his folks. It looks like he couldn't stand living in the city any longer. It was too familiar, and too many people knew about it. Veronica's life also changed in interesting ways. After she was fired from the law company, she tried to get back together with James. She even went to his office and gave a big speech to say sorry, but security took her away. James is now seeing a coworker and just recently wrote on Facebook that he is happy to be with someone who values honesty and loyalty. The end of Tom and Katie's split was last month. Katie got the house and most of their other assets after showing that Tom had been having affairs. Her health is good now that she runs the family business by herself. Friends of both Katie and Tom say that Tom is having a hard time with money since he went to a different state to start over. Lisa, Tyler's mom, and I met at the store last week. She sat me down in the middle of the vegetable section and began to make me feel bad. She said I left her son when he needed me the most, and that refusing to help him was partly to blame for his breakdown. She even said he wouldn't have had to leave the city if I had just given him another chance. I finally gave up. I told Linda what her sweet son had done right there, among the pickles and tomatoes, how he abused me for 8 years while knowing I liked him. How he slept with me when he was weak, which made me think we could be together, but he broke up with me as soon as Veronica slapped her fingers together. How he would only come back when Veronica's real colors were shown, once again treating me like a backup plan. It looked like Tyler had told his family a very different story, and Linda was shocked. In his story, it was me who took advantage of him when he was weak, then became too attached, and now I can't handle just being friends. He made it look like he was the one who lost his girlfriend and best friend because of things that were out of his control. I got a long email from Tyler the next day. He finally told me the truth. He knew how I felt about him before Veronica cheated, and he liked having me around as a safety net, someone who would always be there for him. He told me that he never really turned down or committed to me because he liked being in charge of me. He said he was sorry for being selfish and cunning, and that therapy had helped him see how bad his behavior was. I didn't answer his email. I've come to the conclusion that I no longer need him to explain things or give me peace. People will sometimes show you who they really are, and you should trust them the first time. My new boyfriend is someone I met at my fighting school last month. In every way, he's not like Tyler. He's honest about how he feels and what he wants, and most importantly, he picked me first. I'm also unique. There is no longer a girl who waited 8 years for someone to love her again. I've learned to laugh it off when Tyler's mom looks at me funny at the store. Some of our friends who we both know have started to reach out to me, saying they knew they should have helped me more. But now I know how to pick and choose who I let into my life. Things that are better can come in when you lose people you thought you needed. I don't look at Tyler's social media or ask Jake about him anymore. I no longer care about what he's doing right now. Getting over him and being happier without him wasn't the best way to get back at him.